What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to the Sooner Surge. It's a Wednesday night. There are no storms here, as Ron usually asks. John has already solidified that. But there are some things, I guess, stirring in OU land, Jay, on the injury front. I was not on the live last night. I know in the Discord today, there's been a lot of chatter in the Discord about injuries. But first, welcome to the Sooner Surge. Thank you, Surgeaholics, for being on here. Appreciate everyone. Quick reminder to check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com and sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. You will be on board. You can use code SURGE for 10% off first 3 months and get a shirt sent to your house every single month.
Yep. And another day closer to football. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm ready for it. Sooner fan, real quick, I don't think it opens till next weekend.
It's like the 15th.
I think it's like the 15th. So, and it is going to be a madhouse. It's been being built for 2 to 3 years.
I'm about 10 minutes from there, Jay.
All right. What's up, Scott? How you doing? Speaking of, you weren't on here last night. Just give us your thoughts. I mean, the Jaden Gibson injury.
I'm going to go ahead and say my thoughts, and here they are. But get ready, Surgeaholics. First off, I didn't watch the live. I wasn't on it. If people are blaming Schmitty for injuries, you need to stop, okay? I can watch video after video, drill after drill. I don't care if I'm cutting through hurdles or cutting on the turf. I can injure a knee. That's how life is, guys. When you're an active athlete, there's always a chance. I'm not going to blame it on strength and conditioning. Second of all, I think people, if people are, obviously first off, it's absolutely horrible for Jaden Gibson. I got to say that first of all. It's horrible. But it's the next guy up mentality. You have to realize that at OU. That's been the deepest room, if not the deepest. It's very close. They've got dudes. The question now is, who is the guy going to be? But for people to think it's going to be Zion Reagan, stop. First off, I don't think he has a shot there. He's not an outside guy. Pettaway, I saw someone earlier mention Pettaway, Chester, I think. I think Pettaway's a slot guy. Let's remember what they got an outside receiver. Last year, Andrew Anthony played outside and Jalil Farouk played outside. Now, I know I've been very high on Brennan Thompson. I still am. But there's other guys that have played outside.
That's right. And Jeremy, I have no clue what they'll do. I mean, a lot of people think if Anthony's healthy, he's the starter anyway.
And I want to say something really quickly to respond to Chester, because I 100% agree with you, Chester Carter. Jaden Gibson was the guy I was highest on in that wide receiver room. After last year, some of the progress he made, and looking at this year, like he was the guy I was really looking at making the biggest impact. He's a matchup nightmare. Okay, matchup nightmare for anyone with this size.
Hey, and Sooner fan, and maybe Hunter can drop it in there. I haven't seen anything today as far as how long. Have you?
No, it's all speculation, Jay. And Grey God, I saw Bobby drop that name in Discord, and here's my response to that. Shocking if he's the starter. Like, you want to say, I would say that would be as shocking as if someone told me Michael Hawkins is starting over Jackson Arnold. That's how shocked I would be if Jay is a starting receiver.
Hey, here's what I'll say to it. As I heard Sports Animal this morning, Kerry Murdoch, and the name's been thrown around there a few times with J.J. Hester. They say he stands out in practice sometimes. But here's the thing. He's been there for a while, and you haven't really seen it on the field. Now, can he be? I think. And Ricky, no shot. No shot. Not year one.
Guys,
Not year one.
Hey, for someone who's sitting here ripped Jalil Farouk my entire last 2 years about how bad he is with ball security, the fact of the matter is Andrew Anthony and Jalil Farouk likely will have that spot. One of those two guys.
Nobody knows yet. The MRIs will be tomorrow. I don't think they're talking about Hester as a starter, though.
No, they're not talking about Hester as a starter. And I don't have Hester even on my immediate backup role roster. If we're going to give a two deep today, I don't have him on it. That's
all right,
my
give me right now. Let's just we don't know yet on Gibson, but say he misses at least 4 weeks, whatever it is. We'll see. Give me your top 6 receivers that you would throw out there.
Well, I'm just going to go outside receivers. I'm not even going to go slot. Because
Okay.
I think the slot right now, while I'd like to say that Jalil Farouk should be the backup slot behind Burks, I think that I think he's got to go back outside, like Tone Loke's saying. So I got in the slot, Jay, I got basically Burks and Petaway in the slot. My outside receivers, I got Anderson on one side starting. And if Andrew Anthony is 100%, he's starting on the other side. Farouk would be the backup. And my other outside receiver, you know who I got. It's the man, the Flash, Brennan Thompson.
Hey, I do think the Farouk stuff, if he's healthy, I think people are sleeping on him. And I know you kind of disagree, Jeremy, but I said it before this year in the offseason. I think it's going to be his best year at Oklahoma. I mean, the guy fumbled the ball. I mean, he had problems holding on the ball. Other than that, do you remember him dropping very many? No. Did he have yards after catch? Yes. I mean, the guy's pretty reliable other than holding onto the ball. What's that?
There were two things that I didn't love about Jalil Farouk. I love the fact that Yak was good. Had a really good game against Texas, as Tone Loke says. I do think there's a couple of things that stand out to me where I think he can improve on. The good news is there are things you can improve on. One, obviously, is ball security. Two, the separation aspect. I think, again, part of that's he's not in the slot. But here's the last thing, Jay, with Jalil Farouk, that I just want to see is on the deep ball, if you're going to play outside, he didn't go up and get him very much. He didn't, like, fight. You know, there are plays where you thought it should have been interference, but he didn't go make plays even when there was interference.
Well,
that's what I disagree.
I think you included and a lot of people on here are going to have to, at the end of this year, going to have to almost say, wow, totally wrong on Jalil Farouk. I think you're dead wrong on him. I think
Jay,
I'm sorry.
Eric's saying yes, he did. Jay, I can show you 10 plays where there was no interference called. He didn't make the catch. I can name 1 or 2 where he did.
He made some great ball go and get the ball plays, Jeremy.
The only one who would go up and get it.
It's not the. It's
what?
Not the only, hey, I think he's pretty good at getting the ball in covers. Personally, I do.
To go up, Jay. I don't know that he jumped and made a catch more than 3 times.
Oh, stop! Hey, I think here's what I think. You need to sometimes go back and watch games from last year, and you're going to see he made some big time plays.
Jay, he made some big time plays. But most of his big time plays were in the slant routes. They weren't going down the field.
And a lot of them were tough catches. And I'll say this: I think a lot of people take, for instance, BYU and Arizona. Those 2 games were mainly his turnovers, were they not?
And he made a great catch.
How many did he turn over before those 2 games?
No, it was the end of the year, Jay.
He had the kickoff return against TU where he fumbled it.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that, Jay.
As a receiver, man, I think he played take away the fumbles. That's the thing he's got to fix.
Eric, first off, you don't have to put all caps. I know you're angry. I did check out the highlights. I'm going to go back and watch them immediately after this live. But the play against BYU, he was on a slant route. The guy was draped over him. Now that's a heck of a play. That's a heck of a play. It won him the game, actually. But that is not what I mean when I say that he's going up and getting the ball. That's different. You didn't have a guy who went up and got it last year. They didn't have one.
I haven't heard anything about Caden Hamels other than he looks the part, but we'll see what he does on the field. Don't have to yell, Eric says.
That is true, Eric. You're correct.
Ron says Farouk hit his head on the crossbar in the end zone going up for that catch. Here's what I'll say. This will be the last thing I say about Jalil Farouk. Last year at this time, you included, along with most Sooner fans, were thrilled to death because Jalil Farouk didn't transfer like other people did, like Caleb Williams. He came back last year, had a good year his first year when Caleb left. Everyone, like last year, thought he's going to have a massive year, okay? And the same time this year, everybody's like, well, I don't know if he's a starter. And I get it with the talent they have, but I think he's perfectly capable of being a starter and performing very well.
I think he can too. There's a lot of things he can fix. I think having Jackson Arnold slinging the ball is going to be big time help for Jalil Farouk. But I like what Chester says here. Stop mentioning Caden Helms. Until I see him on the field, I don't care to mention it. The other thing is, and I'm kind of just in a mood, I guess, tonight. Jay Johnson, you're absolutely correct. I wish DJ Graham was still there. Jay, is there a receiver that we're not even mentioning? Someone said Caden Helms, but he was tight end. Is there a receiver that we're not mentioning that's going to get in the mix this year?
Well, we've mentioned Nick Anderson. We mentioned J.J. Hester. We mentioned Brennan Thompson. We mentioned Jalil Farouk. We mentioned Jacquez Petaway. You mentioned Zion Raggins off the side. That's 6. Who am I missing?
There's Zion Kearney. To me, I think Kearney.
Andrew Anthony.
To me, I think Kearney has a better chance of playing than Raggins.
Monty Graham, I think, was it Utah State or something? Weber. I mean, I want to say Graham went to like Utah State. I may be wrong on the school. It was a smaller school.
Yeah, I mentioned Burks, but Jay,
Burks,
to me, Zion Kearney in the red-white game, he dropped that ball. He was getting open. He's a bigger body. He plays outside. To me, he's way over. He's going to get the nod over some of those slot guys that people are mentioning.
I do think Hunter says Kearney's the best freshman wide receiver.
Agreed.
LeBaire Goff says Ivan Carrion. I do think Carrion could be used down by the goal line, using size or something. I just don't. And Collins asked for his best gas tank.
I don't even know what that means, Collins.
I have no clue what that is.
I'm old, so I don't know what that means if it means something. But Jay, can you name a receiver on OU last year who consistently went up and got it? For one, DG wasn't throwing a lot of deep balls.
Yeah.
Name me one, Jay.
I thought Farouk had some pretty big plays on those.
Where he went up and got it.
Where when I say went up, he battled the defensive back for the ball.
I'm talking about jumping up in the air, making a play, high pointing the ball like everyone wants to say.
There wasn't a whole lot of chances last year.
Exactly. So I don't know why people are against what I'm saying. No one last year did. CeeDee Lamb would go up and get one. Part of it is the ball wasn't thrown down the field. We got to stop blaming the receivers in this area, I guess. And that's part of my issue. That's part of my mistake. It was a DG issue.
Ron says Stoops got some catches. I think it was more in traffic as well.
Hey, wait, Jay. I agree with you. I agree with Eric. I agree with everyone in the chat that Jalil Farouk made catches in traffic. That is not what I said. You guys need to go back and listen. Maybe I need to yell louder.
Please don't.
That is correct, Gray God. That's the one. Jaden Gibson is the one who went up and got it. Now,
how many catches did he have last year? How many catches did he have last year?
I think 16.
14 or 16.
And about 8 of them were going up and getting them. He's a big receiver. Jalil Farouk's not a 6'5" guy.
Hey, Chester, I don't think anybody's trashing on Stoops. I think.
Oh, I'm definitely not trashing on Stoops.
I don't think anybody's trashing on him. I think a lot of people just think talent-wise, there's other guys that are really talented. 5 touchdowns, 14 catches. There you go.
Let me ask everyone in the chat, and I'm asking you this too, Jay. Everyone in the chat, get ready to type your answer and your response. Am I wrong? Yes or no? Am I wrong in saying?
Yes. Yes.
Am I wrong?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Shut your mouth, dude.
The answer is yes. All right, I'll let you go. Never mind.
Am I wrong in saying OU lost their best receiver as far as going up and getting a ball?
I
think I'm right. He was 6'5", guys.
You're not wrong there.
Okay, he was the best go up and get ball playmaker in there.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean,
Eric says I'm wrong. So Eric, I want you to in the chat, Eric. Mark says I'm wrong too. Eric and Mark, tell me who was the best receiver that could go up and get the ball. I want to hear who it is. You can't say Burks because you haven't seen it. So
I do agree with Gray God there. I think Anderson is the guy that can do it.
I love Anderson. I think Anderson can be that guy. He's 6'3", isn't he? Oh, as far as route running, definitely not Jaden Gibson.
Yeah, Anderson was good at it. I think, but not
I
like.
think Anderson's the guy who can do it. He hasn't yet.
Yeah, and Monty, carry on is 6'6". This is a great question, Tone Loke. And you know what? I don't know if anybody knows the answer outside the people there, Norman, on the sidelines. Because, and did anybody? I don't think a media member asked this to Brent Venables on Saturday, but I think the first leading up to the first game, that press conference the week before the game, I think somebody's going to have to ask it because he's going to play, but I wonder if he'll sit out a series or two.
It's going to be this. Mum's the word all the way through.
You think?
Hey, I'll say this. Dalpois, that's correct. There weren't many jump balls on that team last year. And the other thing is, Ron, I already said this at the beginning. I don't want to go down this road tonight. But if I need to go down this road, I'll get my vehicle. I'll drive down this road very willingly. Now, according to you, if Smitty was driving the vehicle, it'd be pulled over at the side of the road because I had a flat tire. Okay? That's absolutely wrong. Just because there's injuries doesn't mean it falls on the strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, and real quick, John, we're talking about Birch because of the incident with the law. That's what we're talking about. Listen, the stuff about guys getting injured, I mean, just go down the board. Notre Dame lost their left tackle. Texas, we already know it was announced today. Baxter's out for the year, okay? Now, we have not heard that Gibson's out for the year yet, so we got to wait on the MRI results. But Baxter's out for the year. So, I mean, are people going after Texas' strength and conditioning coach for that?
I'm gonna say a line that's 100% true. Injuries occur everywhere.
Yeah, and if somebody,
it's not just where Smitty goes.
I mean, if you want to have homework and put together a graph and show every injury that they've had under Smitty and show me some type of fact that's different from every other team in NCAA football, go for it. Somebody go for it. If you really think you can prove that, I don't know how you're going to sit there and say that.
Ricky says Tennessee lost their starter at safety.
Yeah, and Scott may know if Scott's still on. He's a big ball.
Eric, I agree. If Jaden Gibson's injury is serious, and
I think that's hogwash. That's hogwash. How do you know that?
Jay, like Eric just said, and first off, you're right, Copenhagen. No one wants USC, but Jay, last year, the fact of the matter is he should have played more.
I agree with that. But I don't know what he's going to do.
He's going to get behind the 8 ball, Jay. If all these other guys come in, I mean.
Yeah, Scott says they lost their nickel starter to here's the thing about Gibson. He might transfer if this is true. But I also know, and it depends, but I just don't know his personality. Maybe he wants to play at OU. It's hard for me to judge. I don't know. Look at the guy last year, Harrington. Harrington ended up leaving, but I also think that room is good. So.
Yeah, and I agree with Craig. Georgia's got injuries on the D line. Dalpois says everybody thought Barnes and Fruit were leaving. That is correct. And I agree, Kenneth. Kenneth and I are actually agreeing on something. Full moon tonight or what? Yeah, I absolutely love Brennan Thompson. I think Brennan Thompson's going to surprise everyone. Okay?
Yeah, okay. Let me get to trivia, okay? Trivia. First off, if you have not checked out the Fan Stop, www.thefanstop.com. I know Colin asked yesterday how to get to the link or to the website. The link is in the description. You can sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. 10% off your first 3 months if you use code SURGE. And by the way, go try to find another website that has as many officially licensed gear as the Fan Stop does at the prices they do and has the Shirt of the Month. And not many of them do it, so get on board with that. Here we go with trivia. It's a special birthday today for one Kyler Murray. Happy birthday to Kyler Murray. Here we go with the trivia question. Got to be quick. The year he won the Heisman, another Big 12 quarterback finished top 5. Who was it? Which other Big 12 quarterback finished top 5 in the Heisman and Kyler Murray's year that he won it?
I actually got this incorrect. I'm going to agree with Grey God, though, Jay. one thing I love about Jaden Gibson is he gets people fired up. He doesn't really sugarcoat things. Purdy's a good guess. He says what's on his mind. I love it. I'm going to also agree with Dalpois. I don't think Jaden Gibson was the best. He was not the best deep threat. I do think he was the best jump ball guy. Go get one.
And Tolo, he gets it. Will Greer, a great quarterback in college, man. Unbelievable. Good job, Tone Loke. You get your name on the wheel.
Hey, we got to – there was a commercial in the middle of a freaking trivia question.
I can't help that.
Come on, YouTube.
Hey, Bobby, Haskins played for Ohio State. So, hey, good job, Tone Loke. You get your name on the wheel. Is it twice? 2 times? 1 time.
Tone Loke once for the trivia, yeah.
That's right. 1 time for the OU Houston tickets that will be given away on August 15th. Good job, Tone Loke. Let's see.
Bobby said he got it.
No, Chester.
Oh, he got the commercial. I see.
Yeah, it showed that Tone Loke was first on my end. Hunter can verify.
Yeah, it was Tone Loke. Hey, I know we've talked a lot about receiver. I do like what I think Matt Lennon said in here earlier, that maybe you could go to the tight end more if you want the jump balls, because they've got some guys who can go up maybe and make plays. But again, all this is assuming he was even out for the year. We don't know anything. I'm not going to sit here and say I know anything. I know there are other people talking about injuries in the Discord, but until I see and hear, I'm not going to really speculate on those. It does not impact their record. No.
It could.
It does not at all. Zero chance.
Zero chance.
And I'm going to tell you why. Just like Eric said, he caught 14 balls last year. Okay. They have a great offense. They have a great wide receiver room. Corey, I lived in BA the last 18 years. Moved here to Sapulpa 2 years ago, and our dad is still in Broken Arrow, and I attend church in Broken Arrow. So yeah, we need to meet up sometime for lunch.
Ron, it depends on how they finish. Got to finish strong, man. Got to finish strong. Close it out really good. Hey, has anybody confirmed when OU DNA comes out? I'm seeing clips from it on Twitter. I thought it came out the week before the game. I may need to verify that.
Yeah, I love that play, Matt. That was a great play. He had so many highlight reels last year of the few catches he made.
Jay Johnson's been wondering why you've been screaming the whole show if it doesn't matter.
What?
He's asking why you've been screaming the whole show if it doesn't matter on Gibson's injury.
I'm screaming because that's what I do every night, Jay, because I think my voice matters. How about that? I'm just kidding. Obviously, I don't think my voice matters. I don't think my voice matters. That's why I have to scream louder. And growing up with you, Jay, I always had
to. Burks and Thompson slants. I don't know if they're going to throw as many slants in this offense as they did with Levy. Levy loved the slant. I don't know if Latrell will throw it as much.
I think he will. Sooner fan, look, I'm one of the few on here, okay? One of the few on here that's going to say this probably. I hope OU could get 1 through 5 in recruiting, but I think if OU is 6 through 9, in my opinion, there's really not a difference between 4 and 6.
Hey, real quick, I want to say this, Eric. I don't believe that, but I do believe this. What the great odds is, I think. Go look at Georgia. Georgia was getting better under Kirby Smart when they won a. It does make a big difference if you go win a national championship. I think it would. To me, it would elevate them, especially in the SEC, to be kind of on that level. And then you just got to maintain it. That's it. Once you get there, you got to maintain it for a few years. I agree, Bobby. You got to win a title. Otherwise, I can guarantee you this problem. Alabama and Georgia will always be, and Ohio State will always be top 3. 3-ish, 4-ish, 5-ish. So you only have 2 spots there.
If OU lands 6 to 9 the next 5 years, in my opinion, that's elite.
If 7-5 is coming, it's going to be a very long year on our lives because I don't think they're going 7-5. I think that's.
Can you imagine a post-game live where OU loses to this year to a team they're not supposed to beat, like a South Carolina? It's going to be psychotic on here.
Well, if that happens,
I'm going to be one of them.
Yeah, I do think that's the thing, Bobby. You're going to have those three teams that are consistently in the top 5. That only leaves you a few spots.
Jay, who won the title last year?
Michigan.
Who won the title the year before that?
Michigan. The year before that, it would have been. I drew a blank.
Georgia.
Okay, Georgia.
Stetson Bennett. My point is, Georgia and Bama haven't been playing in the title game against each other.
They've been there consistently there in the top 4.
Absolutely they are, but I'm just saying.
I don't know where you're going with this.
To say if OU's not in the top 3, they can't win a national championship is hogwash.
That's not what
garbage.
Anybody said. That's not what anybody said.
Oh. I thought that was what was implied.
The question was about top 5 recruiting classes.
Yeah, and then someone said something about playing catch-up. They'll never be as good. Well, you just got to get it. In my opinion, you get to the playoff, and then you go try to win the whole thing.
By the way, guys, maybe I'm wrong, but how many does Kirby Smart have?
2.
Yeah, but how many times has he beaten Alabama?
1 in his whole career?
1 time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It does. It runs through those schools, Georgia and Alabama. I don't even care about Ohio State. People talk about Ohio State. What have they done? What has Ryan Day done at Ohio State worth anything? Tell me.
Made the playoff.
But what else?
Made the playoff.
They've had outstanding recruiting classes. They haven't done anything under Ryan Day. If you want to talk about anything worth anything as far as a national championship. Now, I think Ohio State, they're primed to have a run to win a national championship this year. And if they don't, there's going to be a lot of Ohio State people whining because I think they have a lot of talent on that team like they do every year.
Oregon's another one. What's Oregon?
Oregon's another one, yeah.
Hey, you know what? The relevant thing, at first I want to get to Ricky. Yeah, Ricky says Oregon too. And I saw someone just popped in and said relevant. Listen, when you're talking about 2 teams that weren't in the playoff, neither one are relevant, I guess. Like, I don't understand that comparison. What's relevant?
They lost to Michigan 3 times in a row. Does Oregon play Ohio State? Yes.
Yes.
Mess dropped some recruiting stuff. You can't go by every recruiting rank. They're all different. They all have different rankings. So I'm not buying Oregon yet either. Now, if you want to tell me Oregon's going to be in the playoff, yes. Their schedule's not that bad. They're going to be in the playoff. Am I picking Oregon to win a national championship? Heck no. Am I picking Ole Miss to win a national championship? Heck no. Am I picking Missouri? Heck no.
Top 5 teams are relevant. Bobby says, Jay, to your argument, Ryan Day's 56-8 and has won multiple Big Ten titles. What do you got to say to that, Jay?
Because the argument was y'all are talking about everything we throw up here. Y'all say they won't win a national championship.
That's all you guys keep talking about is national titles. But now Ryan Day, he's won multiple Big Ten titles. Whoa!
Well, let me ask you this.
Bob Stoops won all kinds of Big 12 titles.
Let me ask you this. What if Oklahoma would have lost to Michigan 3 years in a row to go to the play, or to Texas 3 years in a row to go to the playoff?
They'd have been saying fire Bob Stoops, Jay. We all know that.
100%, Jeremy. 100%. They would all been saying get him out of town. Can't beat Texas to go to a playoff. So, and by the way, Ohio State, the Big Ten, the schedule lately hasn't been that difficult for them. They have to beat Michigan there in the playoff every year. So, and same with OU for that matter. If you want to talk about OU, the Big 12 isn't anything. It hasn't been anything. OU should have been in the playoff last year. We all know that. OU should have. They should have made the
Jay. They choked.
They should have made the playoff.
Yeah, he has as many championships as Stoops, and I think you're the one that says Stoops was an average coach. I disagree. I think the thing about Stoops, he changed the program. Ryan Day, I mean, the guy before him, Tressel. Tressel won
No,
one.
Tressel was a long time before him.
Tressel and Urban Meyer both won one, Jay. Hey, and Jay, I liked what Aaron Huddleston said. What Aaron Huddleston said is spot on, Jay. $20 million worth, and they're not winning. Yeah, Eric says Bob Stoops was very average. That is a horrible take. I don't have time to argue with that one tonight.
Okay, Ryan Day has 0, and does anybody on here think Ryan Day's winning a national championship this year?
I think they'll be in the playoff.
Playoff? I'm talking about a national championship.
I don't think their quarterback's good enough, me personally, but
Gray God, that's unbelievable, and another feather in the cap of Bill Bedenbaugh. Hey, there's no chance probably he makes the roster from where he came from at Cal without going to OU. Kyle, no update till tomorrow. The MRI results will be back tomorrow. Hunter, I agree with you. It depends on Howard. But, guys, that's every team in the playoff. It depends on your quarterback, I think, a lot of it.
Absolutely. And I've got him in the playoff. I've got Ohio State in the playoff. I do think Will Howard is better. I just drew a blank now. Than Kyle McCord. I think Will Howard's better than Kyle McCord. Do you, Jay?
I'm not a big Will Howard fan, so I think
he's better than Kyle.
I think they're about equals, to be honest. But I saw an interview with Will Howard. He said, I don't have to do a whole lot just to get it to my players. And I don't know, that's a game manager. I guess that's kind of what you've argued against, right? Game managers winning national championships.
There's not many game managers
I think the last two have been game managers for the most part.
Yeah, I know you think J.J. McCarthy, you think Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, I think they were kind of game managers. You got to be a game manager that can make plays when it counts, though. That's the difference.
That's more than a game manager. Stetson Bennett was a great quarterback in college.
Eric says Georgia or Ohio State this year wins it.
Yeah, that's a smart pick.
Do you think a 12-team playoff will produce a better champion? Yes.
I think it'll be more proven to win a few tough games in a row.
But at the same time, you could have an upset early to get one of those teams out of there. So, Jay Johnson asked who's QB2. I think it's going to be Michael Hawkins.
And I got Casey Thompson. Chris Kleiman is hanging on at Ron. He's hanging on first. He doesn't want out of his hand. And he's hanging on because either one, no one's pursued him, which is crazy. But two, I think he loves it there. And listen, Chris Kleiman's best chance to be in the college football playoff is staying right where he's at in the Big 12.
I think people have pursued him. I just think he likes where he's at. He's good there. He fits. And
I think he's very much like DeBoer.
Hey,
he's won everywhere he's been.
The Big 12 right now is so wide open that I think if you're a coach in the Big 12, you got a chance to make the playoff every year. I mean, why? If he's getting paid good and likes it, right?
Well, yep. 12-team playoff's going to be very, very, very,
very difficult.
Deep. It's going to be deep, dude. I mean, it's going to be a great playoff. I can't wait for it. It's going to be here very, very quickly. Jay, we are what? Today's the 7th. We're only about 8 days from spinning the wheel live on this nightly show. We do this every night, but we will be spinning that wheel. Tone Loc got his name on there tonight. Spinning the wheel about 8 days from now to see who wins the OU versus Houston tickets down low in the end zone side, courtesy of FanStop. So appreciate everyone that's on here. Jerry, you getting ready to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to answer this question before we get off here. Yeah, obviously I'd rather beat both. I think for playoff implications, you could lose to Texas if you beat Missouri and make playoffs. If you beat Texas and lose to Missouri, I just think that Missouri is such a swing game this year with two to three losses. It's going to be tough. But
I got to respond real quick. Eric says he doesn't see Kirby Smart with the Boise State on his record. First off, the Boise State game, everyone wants to say OU didn't really beat Bama because Bama didn't care. Georgia really was close to losing about 3 games, one with South Carolina. So
didn't they lose to Utah or something a few years ago in the bowl game?
I thought in a bowl game they did.
No,
Jay.
who was it that beat them?
Maybe it wasn't Utah.
Who was it that beat them?
Yeah, I can't remember who beat them.
It's not
Texas lost to
that's not
Utah.
That's not the team I'm thinking of, Hunter. It's not Texas. It was a few years ago.
You'll have to look it up and bring it tomorrow night, Jay.
Yeah.
Don't get Eric going, he says. Maybe tomorrow night, Eric. We'll appreciate you watching, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a fantastic Thursday.